This is an open letter to uh, this is an open letter to the security agencies. Oh, NSA, FBI, CIA, whoever else might be out there who is DHS, whoever is out there who may be concerned. Here's the thing. Uh, I my perspective about almost everything I say, my interest about almost everything I say is purely intellectual. It's some people like to play chess. Uh, I, because of the condition of the shithole that I was born in, the shithole was very shitty, and my condition of how I came into this world and the world that I lived in was really shitty. And so you become curious that why is my situation so shitty? And then you start thinking and learning and reading and listening and reading and listening and thinking that, okay, why is my situation this shitty and why the other guys over there have a much better situation? And then you go through, and then because of that, you go through those, I guess, 4 stages of grief. The denial and then anger and this and that, and the fourth stage is acceptance. Denial, anger, something, acceptance. Denial, anger, plead, and acceptance. Anyway, the point is this. So for a lifetime, I have just been watching and trying to make sense of what's going on around me at that time, that I was in such a shitty situation, as well as many others, many in a much shittier situation than I. So you become good at trying to make sense of abstract ideas and make sense of, try to read between the lines, and you sort of pick up on it and continue with it and try to read between the lines and see where the bullshit lies, and you become good at it. But for me, it's purely an intellectual exercise. So it's not something that and I've said it often, that I might be wrong. What All these videos that I've made, I've said it often in the video that, hey, but I could be wrong. And I mean it. I mean, based on the evidence that I've seen, evidence meaning historical evidence. You have to just follow the line of history and see where did the shit hit the fan and why it hit the fan. For example, the shit hit the fan, that means the beginning of World War II, didn't start at Germany going into this, jet going into that. No, that was one brick in the wall. It didn't start with Japan starting to attack the Westerners, white people in East Asia. It didn't start there. It started. That was just one link in the chain, one brick in the wall. So this idea, for example, in case of Japan, from what I read, it was basically the Uncle Sam's managers at that time tried to choke Japan in terms of fuel. They were choking the Japanese industry of fuel. Japan had to import fuel from Asia, Middle East, even at that time, always, and somehow it was choked off, and basically this whole idea of freedom of navigation, Uncle Sam's managers at that time were on the other side, not wanting to allow freedom of navigation to the Japanese ships, who were mostly carrying fuel. So it's a tit for tat. You do this, he does that. It just escalates and end up in a war. There is no. It's not like the British were innocent and Germany just went crazy. No, the British have always fought on European land. The other Europeans never went to England killing the British, not in recent history. Once upon a time, the Vikings went and wiped them out, and once upon a time, the Romans did. But beside that, in recent history, every time you see the British fighting other Europeans on European land, like right now they're fighting the Russians in Ukraine. They were fighting the Germans in France. The British were fighting Germans in France. Because you can say that the invasion of, Eastern neighbors by Germany and then Western neighbors was the result of the British embargoing Germans, ship and fuel. So the whole idea that, I mean, the British had most of Africa colonized and the Germans had only South Africa, and even over that the British fought them tooth and nail. The British are violent society. The British have created a violent peasant class, and they send this violent peasant class to the other parts of the world to kill their natives. This is what bad educational system creates. Bad educational system creates a ruling class and a peasant class. The rulers and the slave. That's what bad educational system creates. The British have been masters at this. Their peasants never learned anything, and that's the way they want it. They have the Oxford and the Cambridge and all the other fucking universities, but their peasants are absolutely peasants. They also have football hooligans. Half the country are football hooligans. Boris Johnson himself qualifies as a football hooligan. Look at Boris Johnson. He's from the upper class. Financially he was upper class, but he is absolutely a peasant. An average British peasant. Boris Johnson is an average British peasant. He has nothing working up there. He thinks he's smart. That's just, arrogance coming from ignorance. Arrogance coming from a place of ignorance. So my point is this. My perspective from what I say, whatever I say, my perspective is purely intellectual. I see some things, I read some things, I come and say some things. Whatever I say should be taken with a grain of salt. I'm not really determined on my evaluation. I'm not, I haven't married any of my theories. It's just, you connect some facts together and you come to a conclusion. Now, that conclusion may be because your facts are not, you don't have enough facts. You don't have all the facts. But more and more with the connectivity, forget about this website or that website or this app or the other app. Forget about that. Connectivity is connectivity. You only will get more connected. If you don't start a nuclear war and end it all, you're going to only get more more connected, not less connected. So this idea that let's ban TikTok or let's ban TokTik, it's coming from AOC knows better. but it comes from Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is 102, and she doesn't understand, doesn't want to accept the connectivity only is going to get more. But AOC and her people, they understand that they never back such bill if they're true to themselves, because they all understand that connectivity is only going to get more from now on for humanity, not less. So you can't ban connectivity by banning one website or one app, or 10 website or 10 app, or 100 website or 100 app. You can't do that. What, next you're going to ban Donald Trump's social network, or then you're going to ban Elon Musk's social network, then then basically Facebook becomes a government government run department. Facebook becomes a new department in the state, and you can't do that. Not even the Chinese were able to do that. Believe me, they tried. So my point is this: my interest in all of this is only intellectual, and if I can reason based on the facts that I'm given, that I have from all this connectivity, means you get to see the facts. You're no longer solely dependent on CNN or Fox to hear facts on the ground, because the people on the ground, actually, now you can put a camera in front of them on the people on the ground and hear what the fuck they have to say. I don't have to hear it through Miss Amanpour, who gets paid to sell me CNN's facts. So I don't have to hear that. So I hear it from the guy on the ground. That's the bomb is going over his head. He gets to tell me his facts, and that should be good enough for me. It's better than Amanpour, who says, no, we can't go there because Israel doesn't let us to go there. So no, you can go there, but you're going to risk your life going there. But you don't want to risk your couple of millions of dollars a year job. So because you're in it for the money. You're not here in it for the news, or giving good truth to people. You're there for the money. So you're never going to leave your cushy desk for death by shrapnel. So you don't want to go. Neither any of the young folks in the Western media. No, Israel doesn't let us go there, so we don't go there. I'm sorry, journalists? If you're a journalist, you have to find a way in there. I was reading recently, I am reading Miss Uriana Falucci's book of interviews. Interview with history or something like that. And she has gone through hell for most of the interviews that she has done. She's gone to hell and back. Yes, with a lot of danger to her life. But your reporters are not willing to do that, or not ordered not to do that. Oh, insurance will not pay for this trip, so you can't take it, because then your family is going to sue us. So therefore we are not going to sponsor our reporter going to Gaza, because he's probably going to die, and therefore we are not going to let him go, because if we do let him go, the insurance company is going to charge us up the ass. So therefore we don't go. Thank you very much. So we can't get our real news from CNN, because insurance company doesn't cover the reporters if they go. So of course you're going to become irrelevant, because you're no longer giving information, because your prices have gone up. Your prices have gone up. Your part of the world is so orderly that certain actions that insurance doesn't cover, workman's comp doesn't cover, you don't allow your people to take, that's so orderly, but you're creating such a disorder over there that 20, 30,000 people have died and there is no insurance to be covered. Reporters who have to be covered by insurance company don't go. Therefore, they don't get to report from over there in which people are dying by the thousands, and they don't get to report from that because our insurance doesn't cover that kind of reporting. So that's when you see this, so you get your information from many other sources. So believe it or not, sooner or later everybody is going to learn you know what the guy on the ground has to say. And and everybody is going to catch up with the truth eventually, pretty soon, with this kind of connectivity going increasing, not decreasing. Everybody is going to be on the same page, more or less. So I think more intellectual conversation is better for the society, especially if it remains at an intellectual level until a solution is found. A solution that, you know, filibuster is not going to solve, a solution that, filibuster is going to try to prevent, and vetoes are going to try to prevent. Solutions that vetoes are trying to prevent. I mean, veto in the United Nations many times that everybody said, okay, let's stop killing people. They killed 1,400 of them. These people already killed double that, triple that, quadruple that. Let's stop the killing. I think they got their revenge. But somebody, one country vetoed, and another one declared absent. The fucking British closed their eyes. One vetoed, the other one closed his eyes. That's what we call tacit approval. One determinedly approved with a veto, they determinedly approved, and the other one tacitly approved. And that needs an intellectual uh, conversation. It's sort of like, if I'm sorry, you believe in, if you believe in democracy, you believe in many minds work better than one. So how come, many ideas, many minds work better than one? So how come then when you're in the United Nations and you're in a minority of one, you don't think democratically? You see where I'm going with this? How come when you're in minority of one, you don't think democratically? No, no, no. We have to get our way. We believe in democracy, rule of many, majority. But in this case, we believe in the rule of one. Get over it. We veto. And not just, not just Uncle Sam's managers. You gave the same right to the fucking British and the fucking French and the Chinese and the Russians. And you're thinking to yourself, this can't be good. 99% of the population of Earth is for something, and 1% is against it. So the 1% said gets their way. What part of that is democratic? And don't you think? Forget about democracy. Don't you think when 99% think the same way, think that this is not the solution is something else, probably the 1% are wrong who think the solution is this, even though this has been practiced for 75 years. I mean, even people at the NHS and people at, I guess, all your three-letter agencies. I mean, it's logical. I mean, why don't we all try to, think logically and see that, the problem is not the natives over there. The breeding natives over there is not cannot be the problem because they're breeding there. They were born there. You can't say then you can't say this grass is the problem. The grass was there before me, is going to be there after me. You can't go to some place and say the natives are the problem. I'm sorry, it's the native. It carries the name native. You're from the outside. You go in and you say the natives are the problem. That's very presumptuous. That's very, like they call it centric, self-centric. That I, who came from outside, I am the solution, but the grass that is here is the problem. If it was the problem, it wouldn't have been here. It has got used to here, this grass. It's has been here, has got used to being here. It's beneficial to the surrounding area. That's why it got to stay here. So this grass is for here.